So as you can see, I got everything laid out that I'm going to need for this job. I got the impact wrench with my 7/8 socket to get the lug nuts off of. I got a 11mm hex socket. Thank you very much, Jeep Chrysler, for picking an oddball size. I was able to find one at Home Depot, a set of Husky. I also put a link down below so where you can find it at Amazon. You're going to need a 13/16 socket in order to get off a couple of bolts that hold the calipers on. I got pliers for in case anything gets difficult. I got my torque wrench. You torque it down to 41 foot-pounds when you put the calipers back on. I also put those specs down below. Bungee cord to hang the calipers, brake clean for cleaning them up, wire brush also to help, flathead screwdriver, which is helpful for getting the gasket off of, as well as the clips. I got a C-clamp for tightening down the pistons when you got to make room in order to put the new brake pads on. Got my trusty hammer for in case anything gets difficult and just give it a good whack. I've got my jack stands, and of course I got the rotor and brake pads. I went with the PowerStop Z23. I'll put a link to a video I did an unboxing in case you're wanting to know more about that particular set. And then of course I got my customary rags to clean up after myself because I make a mess. So we got all of our supplies. Step one is to remove the cap on the brake fluid reservoir. That way when we depress the calipers, if there's any back pressure, the oil's got to have somewhere to go, and that way it can release out there. So I've got the tire off, got the car jacked up, and first thing we got to do is release here this little cable because we don't want to get in the way. We don't want to accidentally break it, so let's just go ahead and remove it from these clamps. Pretty straightforward here. Get this second one off. They're just pinch clamps that are pinched down on that little white part. Okay, now we got that released. Next thing that we're going to do is that there are some bolts in the back which we're going to release, which is going to help us get this caliper off. We're also going to take this clip off of, and then we'll have access to the brake pads. We can remove the calipers and then replace the rotor. So what we're going to do is that there's a plastic cap here and there's another plastic cap down here. We're going to remove both of those, and then we're going to remove this bolt, and then we'll be able to remove this caliper. We'll clean it up, put the new pads on, and then put it back on. I just got my screwdriver in here. We're just going to wedge this cap off and get this out of the way. Now you can see that bolt that we got to get in there and unscrew. It's always interesting doing it this way because I'm looking at this reverse. But this is a good perspective for you all so you can actually get in there and see it. And there it is. So now I got to take this rattle clip off here. I'm just going to stick my screwdriver in here and just wedge it up and off. If you need to reuse your clip, you might want to be a little bit more gentle than I am, but I got a brand new one with my rotor and brake pad kit. See? Just comes right off. After you remove the rattle clip, you'll be able to get the calipers off. I've got them seated up here. I've got the bungee cord that I'm going to use to make sure that the weight of this doesn't pull on the brake line. But before that, I'm actually going to use my C-clamp to go ahead and compress the pistons using my old brake pad. Alright, so I got my C-clamp all set up. I'm going to go ahead and compress that, and I'll show you all what it looks like before and after. So there we go. Now we got it compressed. You see how much tighter this is. It's going to make room for my new brake pad when I put it in there because the new ones are thicker. If you don't compress it, you won't be able to get them back on the rotor. I got it down, so I got finger loose. Loosening or tightening it? hope I'm loosening it. Feels like I'm loosening it. Okay, got one off. So I got the calipers off here. Next, there's a little O-ring around here that you got to take off. I've got a little sharp thing in here that I was going to use to pry it off. Be careful when you're doing this that you don't do what I did, which is I broke it. So I'm going to have to get a replacement for that. Go ahead and take that off. And then lucky for me, I'm hoping that this will just come right off. And yep, here it is. Comes off really easily. Alright, so I cleaned up my calipers as good as I could with my little steel brush here. Got my new rotor on. I like to put a couple bolts on just to make it sure that it's flush. And I got a new O-ring, put the new O-ring in there. And so now I'm going to put my calipers back on, put the new brake pads in them, make sure that they're lubricated, and we should be good to go. So I got the bolts in, and I'm giving you the back view. And I'm going to get these finger tight. And also, because I didn't mention it, if you got a new rotor, you're also going to want to put some brake clean on your new rotors and wipe them down. Make sure that they're nice and clean for when you put your new pads on. So I'm going to go ahead and get this finger tight, and then I'm going to get my torque wrench out. Alright, I got the bottom one in, and now I need to get the top one in. Again, I'm just going to get it finger tight. Then I'll take a ratchet and take it ratchet tight, and then I'll get my torque wrench out. Okay, I'm just going to get a little ratchet tight. That's plenty. Then I'll go again, just get this kind of torque tight. That's good. Now it's time for the torque wrench. Alright, I'm going to put the new brake pads in. Okay, I got my new brake caliper, got it greased up. We're going to set this in here. Alright, nice. Now we're going to put the calipers back on with the new brake pad. I've got the new brake pad seated in here. I've got that also greased up. And I'm going to take the pin and actually put it into the sleeve first and then slide it on. Okay, I got the brake pad in on the front, got the brake pad in the caliper. Also, that came with my kit some brand new rubber sleeves, so I got the bolt inside of the rubber sleeves. Now I'm just going to slide this on because I compressed the pistons. I got able to slide that on there with the new brake pads, and then I am going to hand start each of the bolts into the holes and then tighten it up with the ratchet. Okay, I got the bolts tightened in the back, got the rattle clip in. The easiest way to do this is to go ahead and put in, get it hooked in on one side, then use a screwdriver to wedge it in on the other side, and then push this last one in. You can see it's in there tight, got everything secured. Last thing is to put these little plugs in the back of the rubber boot in the back that the bolt went into. Whoops, dropped that. So I'm going to go ahead and pop these in, and then all I have to do is put the wheel back on, lower it, go through the break-in procedure. And anyone that's got to do the rear brakes, I'm going to do a video over here of doing the rear brake pads and rear rotors. Please like and subscribe to my channel. And also, if you've got any questions, comments, anything that I could be doing different or better, please feel free to leave a comment. Also, don't forget to reattach these little wires into these clips so that you got everything back in the way that it's supposed to. There we go. Now I can put the wheel on. There we go. Got the tire back mounted on. Got the brakes primed. Don't forget to put the cap back on your brake fluid reservoir. Hopefully you find this helpful. Please like my video, subscribe to my channel. Also, if you're interested in a review of the Power Stop Z23 brake kit, I've got an unboxing video right there. And for anyone that's also got to do the back brake pads and rotors, I'm going to also have another how-to video there. Please leave comments. Let me know if there's anything I did wrong, anything I could do better, any questions you might have. Like I said, in all my videos, I'm not a professional. I just like to do this on the weekends. I got more time than I got money, so hopefully you found this helpful. Thanks, everybody.